All right. Let me try to give you a few ideas that might help you with your chair drawings. So the first thing to keep in mind is you have to visualize the box first, right? So you have to see, imagine the chair as a box, and where is that in relation to your eye level? So the first drawing I gave you was a chair that was below, the whole thing is below your eye level, and I wanted you to have a near corner, not to see it straight on from one of the sides. Okay, so you have to do that first. You have to just sort of imagine what a box looks like below your eye level. And from the near corners, you're going to expect the lines moving up. The second thing is that, so first visualize the box below your eye level. Second, you have to, of course, imagine the chair as the box, right? So you have to kind of make that leap where you imagine the box below your eye level, look at the chair that you're looking at, and you've got to get the two to relate. You have to see the chair as if it was boxed below your eye level, right? And then you have to realize that every part of the chair has to conform to perspective. So you can't just sort of leave out parts willy-nilly. Like every line in that chair has something to do with perspective. And so you have to sort of take care of those lines. And they're just A, B, and C lines, those three line sets. So let's just take a box below our eye level. Okay, so if I'm looking at a box below my eye level and I've got a near corner, it's going to be doing this, right? So here's a box below my eye level. I can see the top of it, right? And what's important is to just take stock of all of these line relationships, right? So we've got, these are A lines, and then I've got B lines and C lines, and either side could be B or C, doesn't really matter. But the main thing is to understand that you've got three different line relationships. The A lines are going to be, their relationship is that they're parallel to one another, right? And then these lines here, we'll call them the B lines. These lines here, their relationship is that they're converging with one another, right? This line is converging with this one, which is converging with this one. And this is what not too many of you were doing in your exercise, was sort of imagining these lines as being grouped and converging. And it's helpful to actually take your perspective lines and take them past the end of the chair. Don't just end them at the chair. You want to have the sense that, okay, all of these are related, they're converging. That means this one has to be steeper than this one in order to converge with it, right? And why do we want the lines to converge? Because we want things to get smaller as they go back in space, right? So this leg of the chair needs to be shorter, smaller than this one here, right? Because it's further away from us. Otherwise, we don't get the feeling of space. So in order for that to happen, things have to converge. They can't stay parallel. It's not gonna look right. So you've got to make sure that these lines are converging. And the nice way to make that happen is to take these lines past the edge of the form, as if they're going back in space to that eye level, right, where they're all meeting at the vanishing point on your horizon line. Okay, same thing for these C lines. So my C lines are sort of moving back. This one is moving uphill more steeply than this one. So all of these are going back. And again, I'm taking them past the end of the box so to get that sense of things getting smaller as they go back. They're converging, right? So now, if we draw through the box and we imagine the rest of the box and the rest of these lines, this would be a B line converging with this one. This would be an A line back here, right? So all these lines, these B lines and C lines are converging. The A lines are staying parallel to one another. All right, so if I just build on top of this now, so let's pretend now that this is the chair that you're looking at, and this is the bottom part of the chair. This is the seat, and these are the legs, all right? And then I can just build, I'll build the back of the chair on top of it. So this is a C line converging with this line and this line. These are A lines here. They're parallel with these lines here. Okay. So this is the simplest kind of chair idea. This is kind of your, your sort of stripped down, basic chair model, right? That every chair conforms to in some way. It's just there are things in your chair that are going to be a little bit more elaborate or a little bit more disguised, perhaps, because you've got curves or you have other details and so forth. But this is kind of your basic underlying chair. And it's helpful to think of this chair in relation to the chair that you're looking at, because all of the lines in your chair are going to relate in some fashion to these lines here. So it's almost like this is kind of like a template, like an imaginary template that you can kind of overlay onto your looking as you're looking at the chair that you're looking at. So you see on your chair how it's actually positioned, and then if you first draw a chair kind of like this and get these lines to relate properly with one another and make sure that your A lines are parallel, your C lines are all converging, your B lines are all converging with one another. If you begin kind of like this and then build your chair, use this kind of like an armature, and then you build your chair on top of it, whatever, like this might be curved, or you might have, you might have arms or whatever, or, these legs might, this chair might, or the seat might flare as it goes back, or the back legs might be at a slight angle or whatever. But if you take this as kind of your standard, then you can see how your chair deviates, and you can adjust for that. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. I've got one more video where I'll elaborate a little bit on this.